Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Baba Bagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Insecurity under control, says Buhari. I have failed as a minister, Buhari's well-known appointee. Breaking, Adeleye resigns as Ilana Omo-Oduah spokesperson. Other headlines, Zamfara PDP chairman Sani Kaura slugs, dies after giving speech. Sanu urges FG to meet terms of strike suspension. 14 die as bandits vigilante clash in Niger. Another headline, fire god complex at Alekuwodo Markets, Oshogbo. And on foreign story, Nigerian-born Amanda Azubike, now Brigadier General in U.S. Army. Finally, on sports. Edo Queens, Nasarawa Amazons, others storm Abuja for Shoals Cup. Now the news in detail. The President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired as expelled insinuations that insecurity was on the rise in the country. According to him, the narrative by some Western countries on the security situation in the country are false. The President spoke at the opening ceremony of a 3-day strategic communication conference for state commandants and public relations officers of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps on Wednesday in Abuja. Represented by a spokesman, Femi Adesina, Buhari said that the insecurity witnessed in many parts of the country was under control. He said, while insecurity is not gone, it is not rising. To a large extent, there is control over the security situation in the country. This is irrespective of the Western nations say about the security situation. We know that is not exactly the truth. Our security agencies have a firm grip and control of security situation in the country. I oppose the word rising insecurity in the country. It is not rising. It is under control, and it will be under control till it's completely checked. The Commandant General of NSCDC, Ahmed Audi, said the federal government was leaving no stone unturned to eradicate insecurity in the country. Audi, however, urged Nigerians to turn deaf ears to utterances meant to discredit the effort of the federal government in the fight against insecurity in the country. Adding that security country requires the cooperation of the security agencies and the citizens. Moving on to the next story. The Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, on Thursday, November 3rd, admitted that he has failed in his ministry. Adamu, during the 66th National Council on Education, NCE, held in Abuja on Thursday, noted that he had not been able to proffer solutions to the problems facing the ministry. The minister pointed at the increasing number of out-of-school children and the ASU strike as part of his failure. Adamu on Thursday, November 3rd, admitted that as the longest-serving member of President Buhari's cabinet, he has failed for being unable to solve several challenges in the ministry. The minister particularly mentioned that from out-of-school children which have increased under his watch to the ASU strike and other challenges facing Nigeria's tertiary education system, he could not provide the needed solution, the Sun reports. Adamu made his confession while at the 66th National Council on Education in Abuja, where he accused the State Ministry of Education of adding to the factors that aided his failure as a minister. Going on to the next story. Mr. Maxwell Adeleye has resigned from his position as spokesperson of a communications secretary of Ilana Omo-Oduah worldwide. Adeleye, in a letter to the leader of IOO, Professor Banji Akintoye, said his resignation takes immediate effect. The letter reads, I write to notify you of my resignation as Communications Secretary, Ilana Omo-Oduah, worldwide with immediate effect. My dear Baba Alano, you and I and Almighty God knows why I choose to throw in the towel. It is more honorable to leave everything to God. Posterity and history judge than go into Ulabalu or Bruhaha with you, he said. Moving to Zamfara State. Dr. Ahmed Sani Kaura, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Zamfara State, is dead. Kaura slumped on Wednesday during a peace meeting organized by the state chapter of the Nigeria Council of Ulama. He was 62 years. The secretary of the party, Faruku Ahmed Gusau, who confirmed the incident, said Kaura was invited along with some other PDP stakeholders by the Council of Ulama for a meeting to discuss how to prevent political thuggery in the state. He said Kaura's health worsened after delivering a speech at the event. He noted that he was ill and had to recover before the event. Gusau said Kaura was immediately rushed to a nearby private hospital where he was later confirmed dead. The late chairman left behind 2 wives and 6 children. The Nigeria Council of Ulama had organized a meeting involving all the political parties in the state to ensure the peaceful conduct of the 2023 general elections. Moving on to the next story as regards SANU. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Students, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has asked the federal government to expedite the process of upholding its part of the terms of agreement on which university workers recently suspended 8-month strike. The union also appealed to the federal government to rescind this decision of no work, no pay and release the withheld salaries of members of the Joint Action Committee of SANU and NASU. It expressed particular concern over the poor status of funding and non-payment of salaries of SANU members working in 9 state universities, including Tai Sholari University of Education, Ijagun, Olusegun Agago University of Science and Technology, Okitipupa, Adekunle Ajasin University, Akuba Akoko, and Kwara State University, Malete. Other universities are Plateau State University, Bokos, Abia State University, Uturu, Ebonyi State University, Abakaliki, Cross River University of Technology, Calabar, and Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti. In a communique signed, issued at the end of its National Council NEC held last in Abuja, SANU said the root cause of the recent industrial action embarked upon by the Joint Action Committee of NASU and SANU was a failure of the government in honoring previous collective bargaining agreements entered into with the unions. In the communique signed by Comrade Mohammed Aruna, the union maintained that due process was duly followed in line with extant labor laws, adding the action of the government to withhold the salaries of members of the union is totally unnecessary and has brought about untold hardship to hapless Nigerian citizens. Moving on to the next story from Niger State. 8 armed bandits and 6 vigilante members lost their lives on Tuesday during a gun duel around Kundu Axis near Zungeru in Wushishi Local Council of Niger State. The incident occurred around 9 p.m. after the community got wind of the suspected kidnappers' movement across Kundu towards Akere with a large number of Russell cattle. The Guardian learned that the vigilante operatives immediately went after the bandits, which led to the casualties on both sides. Locals said that while the criminals were passing through their usual route, they also got wind through their informant of the vigilantes' plan to engage them, hence they prepared for a showdown. Police Public Relations Officer PPRO of the command DSP Wasiu Abiodun could not be reached for reaction on the incident. Meanwhile, abductors of 21 youth in Faskari Local Council of Katsina State have contacted family members of their victims demanding huge sum. The actual amount was not known at first time, but there were indications that the terrorists were demanding 10 million naira per victim, amounting to 210 million naira. From that story, we'll go to Osun State. A midnight fire on Thursday gutted a shopping plaza at the popular Alekuwodo area of Osogbo. It was gathered that a fire incident which occurred early Thursday morning and affected the one-story building belonging to Art Deco at the Alekuwodo market before dawn. Men of the states of the Osun Fire Service Rescue Service are currently battling to put off the fire as at the time of the story. As at the time of filing this report, the cause of the inferno was yet to be ascertained. If you are just joining, you are watching the world news from BGI TV. More to come is coming from the foreign scene. A senior officer in the United States Army, Amanda Azubike, has been promoted to Brigadier General rank. Amanda, whose father and mother hail from Nigeria and Zimbabwe, serves at a military base in Fort Knox, Kentucky. U.S. Army Futures Commander General James Rennie said Amanda makes everyone around her better. Born in London, United Kingdom, she joined the military in 1994 and became an aviator after passing the Army Aviation Officer Basic course. Amanda graduated from the University of Central Arkansas in December 1993 with a bachelor degree in communications. The officer completed flight school in 1995 as a UH-1 pilot and began a career with the 9th to 4th Aviation Support Battalion at Hunter Army Airfield, Georgia. After the Military Intelligence Captain's Career Course and Fixed Wing Multi-Engine Qualification Course, she served with the 3rd Military Intelligence Battalion in South Korea. She attended Public Affairs Officer Qualification Course and was assigned to the Coalition Forces Land Component Command in Kuwait from July 2005 through June 2006. Amanda served as the Chief Media of Relations and Public Relations Operations Officer with the U.S. Army Central Command's headquarters at Fort McPherson, Georgia. The general also worked at the Office of the Chief of Public Affairs at the Pentagon in the Community Outreach Division. She was Chief of Public Affairs for the U.S. Southern Command Headquarters in Doral, Florida, and Senior Military Assistant to the Principal Deputy Office of the Secretary of Defense at Pentagon. To the final story coming on sports. No fewer than 8 Nigeria Women Football League (NWFL) clubs have confirmed their readiness to take part in the 2022 Shoals Cup kicking off on Friday, November 4th in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. Chairman of the organizing committee of the pre-season tournament and secretary of FCT Football Association, Coach Aruna Ilerika, said both logistics and technical arrangements have been perfected while finishing touches are being put to others. He said already the participating clubs have concluded plans to arrive in the nation's capital today, November 3rd, as most matches are scheduled to be played inside FIFA Gold Project Packet B of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. He listed the clubs expected to face each other during the tournament to include Adamawa Queens, Edo Queens, Confluence Queens, Delta Queens, Atlant Queens, Nasarawa Amazons, Royal Queens, and Niger Rattles. That concludes the world news from BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Insecurity under control, says Buhari. I failed as a minister, Buhari's well-known appointee said. Adeleye resigns as Ilana Omo-Oduah spokesperson. And on a sad note from Zamfara PDP chairman Sani Kaura Slums dies after giving speech. And on the sports scene, Edo Queens, Nasarawa Amazon, all the storm Abuja for Shoals Cup. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Babagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and function, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. Good evening.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just into BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million. Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress.